My name is Lorenzo Mendoza,
My name is Steve Magdaleno.
My name is Joanna Grijalva.
My name is Fatima Olivera.
and this is our presentation on Isaac Newton and his impact.
So a little bit about Newton's personal life. So because I did research on him and there's not really a lot to talk about. But in his childhood, he was born in January 4th, 1643 in the small town of Woolsthorpe, Wiltshire. Newton was born into a family of farmers. His father died 3 months before birth, and he was born premature and weak, and his doctor did not expect him to survive for at least a week. The mother abandoned Newton at the age of 3 after remarrying to a minister, leaving Newton with his maternal grandmother. But the mother did return to his life after her second husband died, after 9 years of abandonment. Into his adulthood, he had no recorded romantic partnerships, never married, and did not have any kids. He was notably private about his personal affairs. Though amicable towards certain intellectual peers, he kept his circle of confidence very small. He died in March 30th, 1727, in Kensington, London.
About Newton's academic career. Schooling prior to college, Isaac Newton attended free grammar school, which his grandma enrolled him in. He did not excel in those classes, but he did have the opportunity to take advantage of some of the opportunities that they granted the children to get into college. As for his college life, Newton attended Trinity College, Cambridge. Newton went to Trinity College, Cambridge to pursue a degree in law, which he achieved in 1665. All the while, he was reading math books and physics books. He read those books because they intrigued him and because his grammar school only touched base on the basics of math. So, while he was getting his law degree, he was reading those books about math and physics and also working a job as a servant to pay for his tuition because his mother would not pay for his tuition. In 1666, once the colleges reopened due to the Black Plague, he took a fellowship at Trinity to obtain his master's degree.
So around 1666, Isaac Newton developed the gravitational theory when he was just 23 years old. In addition to being well known as the discoverist of gravity, Isaac Newton is also known for his discoveries listed in what is commonly referred to as Principia. In just 20 years, which was around 1686, Newton developed his laws of motion. So the first law is Newton's law of inertia, which states, as an object at rest remains at rest and an object in motion remains in motion at constant speed and in a straight line unless acted upon by an unbalanced force. So essentially, an object will remain at rest or in uniform motion unless acted upon by an external force. By definition, the tendency to resist change is known as inertia, hence the first law's name. An example would be the motion of a ball falling down through the atmosphere. Newton's second law, which is the law of acceleration, states that the acceleration of an object depends on the mass of the object and the amount of force applied. So essentially, force is equal to the change in momentum defined as mv, where m is mass and v is velocity per change in time. If mass is constant, force is equal to mass times acceleration, which is famously known as F equals ma. An example would be an aircraft's motion resulting from aerodynamic forces, aircraft weight, and thrust. Newton's third law is law of action and reaction, which states whenever one object exerts a force on the second object exerts an equal and opposite force on the first. So for every action or force, there is an equal and opposite reaction. So in conclusion, force results from interactions. An example would be the motion of a jet engine produces thrust and hot exhaust gases flow out from the back of the engine, and a thrusting force is produced in the opposite directions.
Newton's impact today. So, historians say that after witnessing an apple fall from the tree, Newton started to ponder about gravitation, which led him to develop theories about gravitational force and the orbit system. He needed a way to describe the changing speed of a falling object, which at the time he called fluxions or what we know today as rate of change. He also used integral calculus to calculate area under curves with his planetary work. He also made significant contributions in algebra by generalizing the binomial theorem. In 1687, his book known as Principia, he laid out his laws of motion. Fun facts about Newton. He had developed the first reflective telescope. Unfortunately, he had experienced a lab fire and lost a significant amount of work on a manuscript he had been working on alchemy. It is said to have been caused by his dog Diamond, who had knocked over a candle. His work in alchemy was often in code. He had made it a mission to find the Philosopher's Stone, which was said to turn ordinary metals into gold. He was also, like previously mentioned, he was able to make the discovery of gravity due to being sent home from the bubonic plague. He was a professor at Cambridge and also served in Parliament representing the university. And lastly, he was buried in Westminster Abbey alongside Charles Dickens and Charles Darwin, which were influential figures in history. And these are our sources. Thank you.